just thought I'd just share a couple of, some of you probably know this stuff, but you forget. So just tips for searching in Google, just obvious stuff that maybe you've forgotten. So you probably know that, why can't I see my screen? So you know about quotes, right? So to be or not to be, put it in quotes. Why is that so small? There you go. So put stuff in quotes to get things in quotes. Great way for searching for plagiarism, by the way. If you have students that hand stuff in that doesn't quite sound kosher, you can always just put it in quotes and find out where it really came from. It's not a bad idea. Then there's also, if you were to search for, say, Jaguar, but you didn't want the animal Jaguar, you wanted the car, you can always type in minus animal, and of course it takes out any reference to animals and gives you only the cars. So don't forget the minus sign. Then of course there's the tilde sign. So if you were looking for Christmas desserts, but you wanted sort of sweets and sort of, you know, other things, other words that might mean dessert, you can put a tilde in front of it, the little squiggle, and that will give you things like dessert. So it will also take in words like sweets and lollies and after dinner, that kind of thing as well. Then of course, don't forget, if you were looking, let's say you're searching for education, but you only wanted things that were articles published, say, in the Sydney Morning Herald, you can use the cite operator. So cite, smh.com.au. And the results will come back, and Wi-Fi permitting. Interesting.
I think it's a comma. Last one, comma. So,
There's a comma? No, there's no comma.
no.
I'm just getting nothing. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you can see all the articles that have come up there are all from the Sydney Morning Herald. So if you want to restrict your site to a certain thing, sometimes if you're looking for a video, for example, search for the topic and put site:youtube.com, and you can restrict to certain sites. So that's a good idea. Oh, why is it so tiny? Then of course there's file type. So you can go in here and say you're looking for Hattie visible learning. But you know how Kate said this morning she couldn't give you the PowerPoint because it was under copyright? Well, if you would put in here file type :PPT, then we'll be looking for only things that come back as PowerPoint files. So it won't be hers probably, but it'll be a PowerPoint. And you can search for PDFs or Excel files. In the mapping session we did earlier, people asked where do you get the data sets? Look for location, data set, file type, CSV, and you'll get CSV files. So that's a really handy one. A lot of people forget about that one. Then of course there is the two dots. So if you're looking for all the movies or references to movies produced between 1930 and 1950, if you separate that with two dots, it'll give you a range. So when you do that search, it returns references to movies between 1930 and 1950. So the two dots. Anytime you've got a sequence of stuff, two dots will give you the whole sequence. Then you've got things like, you're giving me timing, right? Define. So if you don't know what a word means, you can type in define and pick a hard word like malapropism, and there you go. And so it tells you what that word is. So never an excuse to not know what a word means. Then there is things like, if you want a calculator, calculator. Just type that in and it actually gives you a calculator on the screen where you can go and type the numbers in. Of course, if you have a formula, you can type it in, so 45 plus 56, it will actually give you the answer to that. I'll just tell you that's 101. And you can even do more complicated things too, like if you know what a formula is. So for example, SQRT, the square root of, there you go, we'll use that one, 16 minus x to the power of 2, and come on, Wi-Fi, do your thing. There you go. It'll actually draw the graph for you. So if you have a formula like that, it will not only tell you what the answer is, it will try and graph it for you as well. Then you've got things like, if you type in, say, movie times, it will actually look up movie times for you. And it'll tell me, it knows that I'm in Sydney, so it's telling me here are some movie times in Sydney. If I actually click on that, it will, thinking about it. What's it doing to me, Ross? There you go. Just having a slow think. It will actually take you to and give you all the movie times for all the different movies. So you can see what's on at the Dendy. Here's what's. I'd like to know more about Gravity 3D. So you can click on Gravity 3D. It'll then take you to the sessions over on the side here. Morning session, afternoon session, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. You can click on all of that stuff, and it'll drill down and it'll tell you what's on when and where. So that's quite handy. Let's just go back to the main page. What about flight times? What's going on with this Wi-Fi? What's going on with this? Okay, flight times. Let's say you have a friend flying over from London on QF1. If you put in QF1, it will actually go and will tell you where that flight currently is. It's just between Dubai and Heathrow, and another one's on the ground in Sydney. That's kind of handy. AC33, for example, probably heading over to Vancouver at the moment. There you go, so halfway between Vancouver and Toronto. Another one on the ground in Vancouver. Here we go. What else have we got here? We got, let's try this one. 427 6189. There you go, it's popped up. You know what that number is? It's a tracking number. It's a FedEx package. If you click on the link after you've done the search for it, it actually takes you directly to the FedEx tracking site and tells you where that parcel is in transit. So it's kind of a useful thing. I do like how a lot of this stuff now is being done on voice. How tall is Catherine Zeta-Jones? Speak. 1.69 metres. I don't know why it's not speaking. Maybe I'll turn my volume down. I did. Let's try another one. Let's try... What is the currency of Indonesia?
Indonesia's currency is Indonesian rupiah.
What's the weather like in Toronto?
It's 14 degrees and overcast in Toronto.
How old is Tony Abbott?
Tony Abbott is 55 years old.
What's the time in Toronto?
The time in Toronto on Canada is 11:44 p.m.
I'm hungry. Oh, didn't do it. Often it tells you that, oh, there's a restaurant nearby. Wake me up in 20 minutes.
Setting alarm.
Send a text message to Chris Waterman. Good to see you here today. And it's just sent Chris a message. So just a couple of things you can do with Google search that it just gets better and better all the time. Some things you might know about, some things you may be forgotten, and a lot of this stuff now is being done on voice. And we talk all the time about what happens if every kid has a device in their pocket that they can ask all these questions of, and it's very much a reality. So there you go, thanks.